What's up, everyone? Welcome to the most positive pop culture podcast in the multiverse of Metalcore Nerds, where each episode I have a guest from the podcasting or music community and we explore their love of pop culture. I'm your host, Sean Mott, and my co-host this episode is Drew of Have Mercy. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I am very excited to have you here. Just even before the recording, the vibes are great, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
Dude, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a journey. We're gonna see where it goes.
Whether you're a return to the show or first time listener, thank you so much for tuning into the show. Best way to support, subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that comment, help appease the algorithm gods. And if you're listening, hit the 5-star review. Helps podcast community to grow, helps more people find the show. If you want your daily fix of Metalcore Nerds, you can find us on all social media at Metalcore Nerds.
I always want to say this. Smash that motherfucking like button. Okay, there we go. Got to say it.
There you go. Making dreams come true today.
Yeah, there we go.
I want to know,
okay,
what got you into pop culture? What was the entryway into this wonderful world of movies, TV, and everything like that? What was your pop culture origin story?
My dad. So my dad and I didn't really get along a lot, like when I was younger, but him and I really butted heads because I was like a true punk rocker. He was like a cop, so I was like, I can't be friends with the enemy, and then but he also got along a lot more with my older brother with mechanics, like working on stuff, fixing stuff and all that. But my dad, when he was in the Navy, would bootleg movies. He would take like 2 or 3. He had like 2 VCRs back in the day, and he would take like 2 or 3 movies and put them on one tape. And then growing up, we had this. I'm not lying, man. It was like literally like thousands of just VHS tapes with like movies on them. And he would and even when like I was younger, I remember him, like, I think the last movie he bootlegged, it was like Camp Nowhere and Air Force One on like a double. He would do like double and triple features, like on like movies on like these tapes, and then he cataloged them all in like this binder. So like I had my own Netflix growing up, so he had that, and then he had a huge vinyl collection. So like when he would go out with my brother, my mom would like be teaching me how to cook and stuff like that, and doing like artsy stuff. And then like when we're waiting for something to waiting for a stew to finish, like 3 hours, I would just like grab one of the tapes and just pop it in the VCR, like in my room, and just like watch whatever was on there. So like I remember watching like there's this movie, like one that sticks out is like me and my brother growing up, we love the movie Christine from Stephen King. That was like one of my favorite movies. And we just like, also growing up in the 90s, like I grew up in like kind of a smaller town, like suburb outside of Baltimore, where like we had everything. We had a movie theater, we had multiple video stores, we had a record store, we had like everything. So like, like that era, it kind of sucked, because like you would go to like Blockbuster and like want a certain movie and it's out of it, and then you have to go to like Suncoast or West Coast Video, and then they didn't have it, and then you have to go to like Hollywood Video and they had it, but it was like a fucking like shitty VHS, like the first version of it, not the one with like the special features after the credits, like that type of thing, like. And then also like you had like CBS doing all of those like Stephen King like miniseries.
Oh yeah,
like It. And one of my favorite ones is The Langoliers. Do you remember that one? With like the people in the air. It's essentially Lost before Lost. Oh, like they were on an airplane, and like it was like a storm, and they were like getting haunted by these like ghosts or whatever. And then they find out that the ghosts are like living their like living soul, and they're essentially like afterwards or whatever. I might be remembering it wrong. You also had Trucks, which was on USA, and then that in turn was inspired by, it was the his short story Trucks, which he then turned into Maximum Overdrive, which was one of my favorite movies as a kid. My parents were a lot older when they had me and my brother. Like, for example, my dad was like 44 when I was born. So we watched a lot of shit that we were not supposed to watch as like kids. Like my favorite movie when I was like 5 years old was Escape from New York. Like that like was like my favorite. I loved it. I remember like I was like 6 when like Jurassic Park came out, and I went into like we had to do like a presentation of what we did that weekend. And I told my teacher I went and saw Jurassic Park, and she was like, "Who did you see Jurassic Park with?" And I was like, "With my dad." And then she was like, "Who takes their kid to see a horror movie?" And I was like, "It wasn't really. I mean, it wasn't as bad as like Dawn of the Dead." And she was like, "You've seen Dawn of the Dead?" And I was just like, "Yeah, my dad and I watched it all the time as kids, you know." So that kind of got me into pop culture, was like my dad. And even now, like to this day, like I'll watch like certain movies and like think of my dad. And I even started doing the mustache because my dad had a mustache. And my job ended, my career was over, and I was just like, I need to change the pace. And we were getting back together as a band, always had a beard, and I was just like, I'm just going to shave it off. And this is where the mustache came from.
So Have Mercy has a song on NASCAR 25. That's
Yes.
fucking cool. Tell
Go
me
ahead.
about how that happened.
So I know a little bit of it. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was really spearheading this and just being like, wanting to get this game, essentially bring back the NASCAR game franchise, you know, and bring it back from the dead, because it was like pretty huge back in the day, and then it became, and then like a lot of people started doing like the virtual racing or like the internet racing type thing, and NASCAR was affiliated with that for a little bit, and now they're doing the NASCAR. And then according to what I understand, NASCAR is now putting out like an official game again with Dale Earnhardt Jr. spearheading it. Fun fact, Dale Earnhardt Jr. eats more pizza and is one of the biggest pop punk fans in the world. That dude loves like drive-through records. Like if we went to high school with him, we would probably be like best friends. Dude is like such a sweetheart. He like he will go out of his way to like hook up any band, any fan, anybody that really reaches out. Like that dude is one of the last of like a falling group of like of like stars that will go out of, or celebrities that will go out of their way to do it, like that truly like love their fans and will do anything for them. And I feel like he's doing this with like this whole NASCAR thing, being like, we've heard you, we see you, we're doing it. He has a podcast, and on that podcast he brought us up. He brought up us and the Dangerous Summer. They were talking about music, and literally people I haven't talked to in like 15 years were like texting me and like messaging me on Instagram, being like, Dale Earnhardt brought you up. Dale Earnhardt. I was just like, I know, I listened to his podcast. Thank you. I love Dale Earnhardt Jr. So he chose he reached out, or NASCAR or the music director reached out to a couple of bands like us and the Dangerous Summer, people that were on this playlist of his. It's called Shuffle It, and it's literally just like it's our entire discography. It's the Dangerous Summer. You know, you have the Starting Line, other bands that like, you're just like, this dude listens to that? That's insane. Like,
Crazy.
and so he asked us if we wanted to be on it. And we said, not only yeah, but hell yeah, brother. You know, raise hell, praise Dale, you know? Like, dude, I grew up worshiping 8 and 3 and 88. Dale Earnhardt Jr., man, thank you so much. That dude rips. And dude, love that guy. He's so awesome. We're playing in Charlotte with Boys Night Out. It's the last day of the tour. And we're going to invite him out, and hopefully he comes and hangs out. That'd be sick. Play some NASCAR 25 with him.
Oh my god, what a cool story. That's insane.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
know
awesome.
that he is like a pop punk fan.
He's a
That's
huge
wild.
like alternative music fan. We're all huge wrestling fans. And we were at rehearsal. We were getting ready for our album release show. There's this wrestler, Anthony Bowens, for AEW. Anthony Bowens started following us on Instagram. And we were like, holy shit, Anthony Bowens, one of the best fucking wrestlers that fucking scissor me, daddy. You know,
The
like that was like
Acclaimed.
the Acclaimed. That's what it is. Yeah. I have the pink scissor me daddy fingers. Like I have like an Acclaimed over everybody t-shirt. Like we literally sent him a message back being like, didn't think Anthony Bowens following us was on our 2025 bingo card. And then he messaged us and we were like, holy shit, this is fucking sick. So like, and he was like, yeah, you guys got me through a lot of tough shit in my life, and the Earth Pushback and everything you guys put out after that really meant a lot to me. And then when the album came out, he messaged us and said we were rocking out to the album all the way down to Collision. And I was just like, holy shit, like this fucking guy that's on TV twice a week on like that wrestles, does one of my favorite forms of art, and is one of like the most influential people, like one of the nicest guys, like both in character and out of character, one of the first like openly gay like wrestlers on TV, like this role model for so many young people, and even like people our age and people older, and just seeing that he like loves my shit, or like the art that I put out, and I love the art that he puts out, and I was just like, this is fucking awesome.
Before we're recording, you did say every Tuesday you go see a movie. So
Yes.
I want to know about that. And then
Okay.
after, kind of like what you've been watching recently also.
Okay, so when I first quit drinking back when it wasn't cool to be sober in like 2016, 2017, originally quit drinking. I was just going through like a rough patch in my life. I was like, and then one day I was just at work, and instead of getting a shift drink, I got a Snapple, and I was like, man, I feel so much better, like what's going on here? And I had Movie Pass when it was $9.99. Go see any movie you want. Literally, that's how that goes. The mall was around the corner from the music store I worked at, and so happens to be the same movie theater I worked at when I was a teenager. And they took Movie Pass, so I would literally, after work, I would go to the movies instead of the bar, and I would go and see a movie. And I saw so much just bullshit like just coming out in like 2017, 2018. Like fucking, I saw the Pirates of the Caribbean with Javier Bardem, and I'd only seen the first Pirates of the Caribbean on like DVD, like when it came out, like with like my mom on like no idea what was. I fell asleep during a lot of them, like because it was like 9:30 at night. I'm just going to the last showing of just whatever. I literally would just see whatever, and then fast forward to like 2021, got sober again. And because I literally just had like one of the worst nights of my life, and I was just like, this, I'm not good. I blacked out and truly don't remember anything. And I was just like, that's fucking scary. And I'm done, And then I had to call my girlfriend when we first started dating. It was like 1 week before our 1 year anniversary. Called her at like 4:30 in the morning. I was like, hey, I think somebody stole my car. I don't know. Can you come pick me up? Like, and she was like, you got one get out of jail free card, and you just used it. And I was just like, all right, cool. And here we are 5 years later, and tomorrow is actually my 4 year anniversary, soberversary. And but I use
Congrats.
the movies as kind of instead of going to the bar, I can go to the movies, So I'm comfortable like sitting at a bar all day, every day. I could sit there and just drink like sodas, non-alcoholic beers, watch game, I can do that. And I rack up a tab of like, 80 to $100, like eating food, drinking, and just not being very productive. Or I can go when it's $7 on a Tuesday to the movies and see something that's super entertaining. Like Weapons was amazing. I saw Warfare, which was pretty decent. I'm not a big A24 guy. Thought that was a great movie. Civil War, another A24 movie, amazing. Oh, I have them all on my phone here. There's a shopping center down the street in the next neighborhood over called Hamden. It's called the Rotunda. And in there, they have a movie theater with like the reclining seats and assigned seat, like all my favorite things. And I can ride my bike there. I can drive there. I can walk there. It's super convenient. And I literally go there every Tuesday. So my wife and I are seeing The Long Walk tonight. And because I was just like, I want to go see that. But let me see showtimes, tickets. Sorry, man. This is great radio. Past 21s. So this is the last couple of movies I saw. Caught Stealing. Oh, 4 out of 5 Andrews. Nobody 2. 3 out of 5 Andrews. Weapons. 5 out of 5 Andrews. That day, I also got a large drink, a regular popcorn, and peanut M&Ms. I saw The Naked Gun. 4.5 out of 5 Andrews. Fantastic Four, First Steps, large drink, regular popcorn, 4 out of 5 Andrews. 28 years later, sequel to 2 of my favorite movies, 2.5 out of 5 Andrews. Captain
Oh
America, Brave New
no.
World, more like Captain America, Boring New World. That got 1.5 out of 5 Andrews. Surprisingly, this was one my wife picked, and I was like, hey, we can go see this movie that I really want to see, which is a horror movie, which you don't like, or you can pick the movie. And she said, let's go see Conclave. That day at
Oh.
Conclave, we got 2 large drinks, 2 candies, and a large popcorn, and I saw Conclave at 4:29 p.m. Surprisingly, I fell asleep during it. I watched it more recently. I was like 4 out of 5 Andrews. So those are the past couple of movies I've seen, and I've also seen like other movies when the movie theater around the corner from me isn't doing, I'll like go to Cinemark or something like that.
Gotcha.
But the Andrew scoring rate. So instead of 1 out of 10 or 5 stars, you know, I remember I was walking with my friend who's my best friend in the whole world, Matt, known him for like almost like 16 or 17 years. We used to double feature movies, which is where you would buy a ticket for one movie and like at a Saturday morning and at like a large like movie theater, and we would just movie hop all day, like literally spend an entire Saturday just seeing. That's how I saw the Dukes of Hazzard. We were walking out of some movie. I want to say it was like the Entourage movie or something around like that time frame, like 2015, 2016. And I was just like, man, that movie, 5 out of 5 Andrews. And he was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, if there were 5 of me, we would all be jumping and high-fiving. You know, I was like, that's what that means. The movie theater that I go to is like a small, like independent chain. There's like 3 of them, and they do like a movie club. It's called Movie Club, where they show like the old movies. So back in when I was like in college, me and my friend Matt, we would go to this thing called Gunky's Basement that was put on by Dan Deacon and Jimmy Joe Roche right around the corner at the Charles Theater, which was like one of the last like film 35 millimeter theaters. The first or second Thursday of the month, you would go, you pay $10 and you got a ticket to a movie and you got a screen printed, limited to like 100 like things. So you know that famous, it's kind of famous picture of Bill Murray with all the little Bill Murrays making a big picture of him.
Yes.
That was a poster they made for Groundhog Day. I have that.
Whoa.
And it's literally like, I just got to stand up real quick. It's like this tall. If I was like, had it on the ground, it's like 5 feet tall and like 3 feet wide. And it's like a thin sheet of paper, but I also have like Videodrome. I have like, you know, Silence of the Lambs. Like, I really wish this thing happened. Well, now they don't do that anymore. They haven't done it in a long, long, long time. But the theater around the corner from me, Warehouse, they do this thing called Film Club, where they do on Wednesdays, they do kind of like an offbeat movie. And this week they're showing Maniac Cop 2. And I was like, man, I might have to call out of work because I went down a Maniac Cop wormhole like 2 weeks ago with like one of my coworkers at work. I was like, you've never seen Maniac Cop? And they were like 22 and they were like, no. I was like, oh, dog, you got to see it. Like, it's fucking amazing. I'm that guy at work. Like, people come to me for like tone and pedal recommendations and movie recommendations. Like, that's it. Like, TV shows, like, I'm just like, I'm watching what everybody else is watching. You know, my time is precious. You know, I spend a lot more time watching movies than TV shows personally.
Yeah, I'm both. I watch a lot of movies, but I watch a disgusting amount of TV. A disgusting.
Becky, my I keep calling her my wife. We have a Lowe's card together. That's the only amount of the government we need, you know, to be like, we're together, you know.
It's legally binding right there.
That's a legally binding contract. If I don't pay on it, guess what? It affects my credit too. We both are from that generation of like, our family didn't have a lot of money, but we did steal cable. So there was always TVs on in like every room had something different on. So like, I'm one of those people where even when I'm leaving for the day, I'll leave TV on for my cat.
I saw A Long Walk.
What'd you think about it?
I thought it was great. I loved it. It's the basic premise is, I'm sure you know the premise.
It's my favorite story of his. Yeah.
Oh, you've read the book. Okay. I have not read the book. I will say the endings are different.
Okay.
That's what I've heard. I don't even know the ending of the book because I want to read it. I'm like, I grew up watching Stephen King movies, and now that I've started reading as an adult, I've read a few Stephen King books, and I want it. And usually it's hard for me. Usually I can't read something after I've watched it. Like it like ruins the allure for me. But I love reading something and then watching it after and then finding the differences and similarities. I love doing that. But this one, I'm like, I really want to read it. So I'm going to. The concept is very cool, where it's like each state elects a person who walks. They do this every year. It's kind of like, it's literally, I think if they did Hunger Games in America, this is what it would be.
Absolutely.
1,000%. It's exactly what it would be like. And America lost a war like 9 years ago. Like, the time isn't really specified or anything, or who they lost the war to or whatever, but they've said America is in this like economic hardship now. And they do this walk every year, and it's supposed to uplift the spirits, and the person that wins gets a ton of money and a one wish. And it's basically, you have to walk over 3 miles an hour and until there's one person left, and you get certain warnings and things like that. They explain it in the movie. And I thought the novelty, because like obviously one person lives, so a lot of people die in this movie, and I thought the novelty would wear off, and it does not at all.
Oh,
It just
so it's kind of
and
like
it,
the monkey where like it's keeps going, you know.
yes, yeah,
Just say
and
like another recent Stephen King movie, like, you know.
yes, 100%. And because you feel like the weight of the deaths continue to happen, and you see the bonds form between these boys and everything like that. David Johnson, who is in this movie, and he was in Alien Romulus last year. He was the
Mhm.
synthetic
Great movie. Yeah.
in Alien Romulus, and this dude is going to be like the guy. I think he
Oh,
kind of already is. Like, he's getting a ton of praise for this movie, and he got a ton of praise for
he d
Romulus.
he does a lot of, like, kind of center left, meaning, like, you know, more like pop culture-y, like sci-fi kind of
Yeah.
offbeat. He doesn't I don't see him in a rom-com anytime soon, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Yeah, I definitely want him in continue to be in dramas. He's also in this
Yeah.
show Industry. That's an HBO
I
show.
love Industry, dude. I
I've
love
only
that show.
seen season 1 into season 2. And he's not a big
Yo!
character in it, but he's awesome.
The latest season. Oh my god, it was so fucking good.
I gotta get
Sorry.
back on it. That
Sorry,
show
dude.
is crazy.
That's one of
Uh,
those shows that I was like, I got HBO Max specifically for that. I watched it and I was like, this is awesome. Sorry, back to the long walk. Back to
no,
David.
you're good.
Sorry.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that's the main thing of The Long Walk, is just
Yeah.
like it's brutal.
Mhm.
It's totally rated R. They do
Mhm.
not pull back any punches, but it's also like very beautiful of how it explores humanity and friendships and life
Mhm.
itself, which is crazy because The Life of Chuck came out this year, which is also a Stephen King adaptation, and that's
Mhm.
literally that whole movie is about embracing the beauty of life and like knowing your fate and purpose and everything like that. So it's
Mhm.
kind of wild that there's like two Stephen King adaptations that are like not even remotely similar tonally or how they're portrayed as the adaptation, but they have like similar like themes.
Mhm.
I just think that's fascinating and amazing. And Life
Oh
of
yeah.
Chuck, go watch Life of Chuck. I mentioned it a few episodes ago, but more
That has
people need to
Tom
watch that.
Hiddleston in it.
Yeah, it has a
Yeah.
ton of like Chiwetel Ejiofor is in it, Karen Gillan's in it,
Oh,
Mark
nuts.
Hamill's also in that one. I feel like Mark Hamill has become the token Stephen
Stephen,
King guy.
was he in The
He's
Monkey? We
just
need
in
to figure that
every
out or not.
yeah. Matthew Lillard is also in it. It's Industry pops in my mind like every other week because I'm like, I should restart that. But then I'm also like, oh yeah, I just got screeners for Tulsa King and then Marvel Zombies and
Oh
all this other
shit,
shit. And I'm
Tulsa
like,
King's a fucking
fuck.
another show that I love the shit out of. That is I
Yes.
love Tulsa King, dude. That
Over
is
I really like the show. I think it's so fun. Sylvester
Mhm.
Stallone is perfect for this role. And this season feels very similar to season 2, and that's kind of what bothers me. Not in a bad
Mhm.
way, it just feels kind of repetitive just with new characters in the same
Mhm.
positions that he was in season 2.
Mhm.
Other than spoilers for season 2, but he ends getting taken in by the feds, and he kind of
Yeah.
obviously in season 3 he kind of becomes an informant for the feds, and
Yeah.
that is obviously a big factor, and that's kind of the most interesting thing. But it's of course Dwight gets another business venture, and then they have to go figure out how to run this different business. It's like
So
it's
it's
very much the same as
the
season 2, and then he's like, oh, there's another old time boss that wants a cut of the pie, and it's like it's the same thing.
I
Uh,
love how it's like first season is like I'm gonna get in the weed business and buy a bar, and then the second season he's like we're gonna do a
casino,
windmill, a casino, and a wind farm, and I'm
yeah,
just like, and like what is it now? He's going, what is he buying a fucking nuclear
booze,
power plant in this one or what? It's
booze.
booze. Oh, it's
Just
like
like
moonshine.
he buys like a an age long
Oh, he
fucking
buys like he goes like a
like a
legit like he buy,
liquor or something. Yeah,
oh, it's kind of like
it's like a certain kind of
When Turtle buys the tequila company in the last season of Entourage.
yeah, he ends up buying like I can't remember like I'm straight edge.
Mm,
I don't fucking know
yeah,
this shit.
right, yeah.
Some really fancy top shelf liquor. He
Okay.
buys it, and then of course he was entangled with this other guy who happens to be Robert Patrick, who is fucking awesome, and it's so
What?
cool. It's so wild,
Robert
like watching
Patrick is into
Peacemaker.
everything, dude.
Yeah, like watching Peacemaker and being like Robert Patrick and Frank Grillo, and then you watch Tulsa King. It's like, oh yeah, also there's Robert Patrick and Frank Grillo, and it's just funny.
I
It's just
forgot
funny
Frank
that they're
Gorilla's into that too.
yeah, it's awesome. But so the screeners I got the first 6 episodes,
Mhm.
and episode 3 and on are not finished. And as you get further in, they're like really not finished. Like the color grading is off. Some of the ADR stuff is like sampled from a completely different person that you can easily tell it's just some person being like blanket statement here. And then obviously it gets recorded over. There's certain like establishing shots that it's just text on the screen and they haven't added it in yet. Some of the driving sequences are them in a car with blue screen all around it. The best part is when there's gun violence, because it's just the gun and them going bang, and there's no VFX on like the person getting shot, so they just go and then nothing happens. I'm like, this is hilarious and an unforgettable experience that I will cherish until the end of time because it's
I need
so
to get on like
funny.
I need to start a podcast just so I can get some screeners.
It happen a lot, to be honest. There's some stuff where like there'd be like a shot of VFX where you can tell like, oh, that's obviously not finished, but nothing like this where it's like some of the episode. I mean, to be fair, like episode 6 comes out 6 weeks from now or whatever.
Yeah.
So
They got time.
obviously they're still working on it, and I'm not judging it for that. It's just really funny. But yeah, usually it's like a shot or something, and you're like, oh yeah, that's obviously not finished.
But aside from that, real quick, Alien Earth gave us one of the best alien movies ever. Couple of weeks ago, it was awesome. The new episode airs tonight. So we have a song called Spacecrafts off our second album, and rehearsal. We were recording our rehearsal to send to our sound guy so he can do like a remote mix, so that when he flies in, he just has to put this file on the console, and half of his work is done for him because he's based out of Nashville. Hey Phil, we had all been watching Alien Earth and we were talking about Alien Earth, and Brian, it was the season where you find out what happened with the ship, and Brian hadn't seen it yet. So me and Steve were talking about it like in like kind of incognito, just being like, yeah, that one part where that thing happened, that was so sick. Like, and then I literally said the line, it gave us the best alien movie ever. And then so we kept talking about Alien Earth. And then when Spacecrafts came on, I was just joking and doing like fake stage banter, like for Phil. And I was like, yeah, this is a song off our second album. We wrote it about the show called Alien Earth. Tuesdays at 8 on FX and Disney Plus and Hulu. And then kept playing it. And then we kept bringing, and then anytime there was like a part where we needed to tune or whatever, and being like, yeah, Alien Earth, 8 p.m. on FX and Hulu and Disney Plus and all that, and just making it seem like we were sponsored by Alien Earth. And it got to the point where it was the day of our CD release show. We're rehearsing that morning because with Phil in the room. And I kept doing the Alien. I did it probably 8 or 9 times. And I just kept saying, like, man, can't get enough of that Alien Earth, Alien Earth, 8 p.m. every Tuesday, FX, and then it eventually was just like Alien Earth, Tuesdays, 8, FX, and then just like how like they do like the, like how like a paid person would. So during our show, Spacecrafts comes up. Brian's in the middle of like saying something kind of like sentimental about like the crowd and stuff. And I said, yeah, so like 10 years ago, we put out an album called Place of Our Own. Who's heard that? Well, this song's on that. We wrote it about Alien Earth, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on FX, called Spacecrafts. And then literally did it. And then halfway through the show, we're tuning again. Is one of those things where like I didn't really have a lot to talk about. I said, so who's been watching Alien Earth Tuesdays on FX Disney Plus, and then kept pushing this thing. Each episode of Alien Earth ends with like a rock song. If one of our songs could get on Alien Earth, I swear to God, I would lose my shit, because like in order, it'd be wrestling, NASCAR, movies, and like Alien. Like, and Marvel and DC, like those are like my favorite franchises. And and we already got played during a Ravens game. We already got wrestlers that love us. We actually got into a couple of wrestling shows for free because there's some independent wrestlers that we love that love us. And next up, Ridley Scott and FX and Disney. I'm looking at you. We have been endorsing your show. There are literally people who did not watch Alien Earth that went to that show, heard us doing this Alien Earth bit, Alien Earth Tuesdays at 8, FX, and then literally are tagging us, being like, get our TV shows from Have Mercy, get our TV recs from Have Mercy. So like, FX, you're welcome. Disney, you're welcome. Fox, you're welcome. Sorry.
That's an amazing story. Hey, Noah Hawley said he has plans for multiple seasons of this series. So Noah, maybe we can manifest that. Dude, one of the needle drops.
Like one of the needle drops being like Spacecrafts. Like literally, could you imagine just like Xenomorph knocks out like a human, dragging it, like down like one of the hallways or whatever, as it's like walking into like a light, doors, those famous doors like close, and literally as it's closing, you just hear that from spacecrafts, and right as it closes, just
Damn.
that Noah, you can have that. See, like I minored in film in college because I just love movies. And one of the movies that, so Monday nights we would go to like this big lecture hall, and we would do like a pop quiz on a movie we had to watch like the week of, and then we would watch a movie. One of them was Aliens, and it was like literally just sitting in a movie theater and watching Aliens. I was like, fuck yeah. So like Alien Earth, Tuesdays at 8, FX, great show. Yeah. That series, along with Peacemaker, South Park, and I'm trying, and like I'm just waiting for Marvel Zombies now, even though they're all getting dropped in the same day. And also the paper surprised me. It was pretty
I
fun.
gotta watch that.
It was pretty fun. But those are like the 4 like series that I've just been like like I hold my breath. If I held my breath like waiting for the next episode, I'd pass out because I just love those shows so much. Like when I was a kid, I used to equate Trash Day with what show came on that day. I was like, well, trash goes out when South Park goes on. So during the first commercial break of South Park, I'll take the trash out. And then trash comes in the day that Law and Order comes on. Recycling goes out when this comes on, and it comes back in when that comes on, and that type of thing. So I've always just like, my schedule at work can be all jumbled, and the only way I know what day of the week it is by what show is on and what show and like what, like I know when it's Wednesdays because it's Wednesday night. You know what that means? AEW Dynamite. Thursdays is Law and Order. Fridays is usually like that is SmackDown. Saturdays is Collision. Sundays is I just go to work on Sundays. Monday is Platonic. Tuesday, and then Friday is also Peacemaker. Monday is Platonic. Tuesday is Alien Earth. Tuesdays at 8 on FX. Wednesday is I switch between South Park and watching Dynamite live, or watching a recap of Dynamite, because they've been doing that on week off week thing. Thursdays I've just been watching the old Law and Order episodes to get ready for new Law and Order, even though they're all, you don't need to do that. I just like to. And then and then Friday is Peacemaker, dude. I just love TV. I love it so much. What are some shows you've been watching?
So I've seen all of Marvel Zombies, and
is it worth it?
Part of me, is pretty fucking awesome.
Nice.
I'm not gonna lie. I think what I like about it the most is you can watch it without watching anything. Obviously, it's very isolated. It does take place after the What If Marvel Zombies episode. Like that is like the inciting incident of it, and this is kind of the aftermath of the outbreak and stuff. But it has so many like really weird, wild connections to like MCU lore that I was just like, this is so cool.
That's what's got me stoked, because I like grew up reading.
That's exciting. The action is awesome. It's fully TV MA as they have promised. It fits this like really weird middle ground, because obviously they made like Deadpool work in the MCU by just having it be Deadpool and let them do their thing. This feels like a true TVMA thing that feels like Marvel stuff, like so Marvel of old.
It's not like Echo, or was that Echo where that was TVMA, and Daredevil where that was like TVMA, but like this is like a little bit more gory, would you say?
Yeah, it's like fully gory, but like the tone it feels more like other MCU stuff, whereas like Daredevil felt kind of like more of a continuation of the Netflix series, because that's frankly
and then
what
Echo
it is.
just felt like this doesn't need to exist. Yeah, if you know.
Mostly yes.
Yeah.
Mostly yes.
Most Marvel TV doesn't need to exist, but like for example, Hawkeye was surprisingly fun, but back to Marvel Zombies. Yeah, but that's
the cool thing with this is that like obviously a lot of people in MCU, they're like, I don't understand how this Avengers movie is going to work. There's been no build up, which I disagree with, and can go on a big tangent about that. But because people are trying to compare it to how Thanos was built up, I was like, oh yeah, because he was in a movie post-credit scene and then showed up. That was his build up. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It wasn't that much build up. You're just comparing to compare. But what it proved is that they can make this sort of like event world ending type thing with this random cast of characters, and it can work.
Yeah.
With like zero buildup, zero anything. And the main characters kind of this end up being Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, Yelena, which obviously she's going to be a massive factor in Avengers Doomsday after what happened when in the Thunderbolts, and
Love Thunderbolts, by the way. I saw that. That's
and
one that I saw. Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
So good. And Shang-Chi is also like those. I would say those three are the main characters. There's other
My
supporting
boy
characters.
Shang-Chi's in it, because I knew in the what if it was Spider-Man, Paul Rudd's head, and I forget who the third one
Black
was.
Panther.
Black Panther, yeah. And then I like that we have Moon Knight Blade coming in. Like
He is
he
so
is
sick. Obviously, there's been a lot of weird production issues with Blade and the
Yeah.
MCU's version and shit like that. This kind of tempered. I've been of the mindset that they are delaying it because they want to make sure they get it right and they don't want to put out that sucks, which
Yeah.
I'm all for that. Fuck yeah, that's a great attitude and way to go about things, honestly.
I mean, that's what James Gunn's doing with the DCU, and I love it. Like, I don't care if I have to wait 7 years for Batman to join the Justice League, as long as it's done correctly, you know, like, and you know that, and I feel like that's what the MCU is finally getting to with like the Thunderbolts, and like they kind of realized with like Brave New World and Secret Invasion, like we don't need to do this bullshit. Like we can just put out a group team up movie, and the people that know these, like it didn't do well at the box office, but it did amazing at home. And to like Marvel fans, like people like us that have watched all those movies, know where all these characters are from. Like, I feel like if Star Wars and Marvel and Disney and reality, just like, I understand they want everybody for like money wise, but if you just focus on creating quality content for these fans that you already have, or lapsed fans like myself, like you'll get all of us back. You'll get us spending our money to like do that, you know. I feel like with Marvel Zombies, that's what they're doing. Is they're just being like, they're getting our faith back in Marvel TV. You know?
Yeah. And like I said, it's like that's the biggest thing I took from it, is that like, oh yeah. And I had no doubt about Avengers Doomsday anyway. Like,
yeah,
RDJ is an all-time actor. So I have no doubt he's gonna pull off Doom for these two movies. And Secret Wars is one of my favorite comic events I've ever read in my life.
Yeah.
So I've been talking about Secret Wars being a movie since Endgame ended. I've been talking about it happening. So like when it got announced, I was like, holy fuck. I was like, my time is now. Let's fucking go.
Secret Wars is, I've always wanted a movie, and I've always wanted a Shadows of the Empire Star Wars movie.
Ooh,
like, because when they announced the sequel trilogy, I was like, you're telling me my boy Dash Rendar is going to be in there? Hell yeah. And then now he's just like, he doesn't exist anymore. But I'm really glad that Marvel is like pulling out like Moon Knight Blade has existed in the comic books, and they're just like, he's coming with us. Shang-Chi, he is one of the most underutilized like Marvel heroes, and he is fucking sick. Like,
the last show I've been watching, it just started on HBO. It's called Task. And
like,
you've been watching Task?
Dude, I literally have not seen The Mayor of Queenstown, but I was like, you're telling me Mark Ruffalo and Ben Meacham from Iron Fist are in this? Okay, I'm in. Like, you know, and it also takes place outside of Philadelphia, and I love making fun of those motherfuckers, because if there's one thing, it's Baltimore and Philadelphia just have this I do say water, but like also like the way he's like, oh yeah, I know Don. Like me and him we won't go way back. Yeah, me and your dad, we work together. It's like that motherfucker sounds like he's from Dundalk, which is like a part of Baltimore. And I'm just like, I can just relate to these garbage people, because like, here's the thing, they're not white trash. They're white garbage. Just like me, I'm white garbage. White trash is like loose, collected, you know, kind of scatterbrained. We're like collected. Like I can present as a normal person of society, but as soon as I get home, I'm gonna go wash my car with the water from the hose. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like that type of thing. Like that's literally like, I put on a voice. Like, this is not my actual speaking voice that I'm using with you. Like, I'm trying very hard not to say water or phone or Oreos or ambulance, you know, like all that stuff.
Oh my God.
I color with crowns, you know, like it's just, you know, it's so funny. So once I saw that it took place in like Philadelphia and they were talking like that, I was like, hell yeah, brother. I also love the whole like idea of it. I don't really know a lot. It's only been 2 episodes, but I love that show.
Yeah, the way they've been, I love a show, because okay, this is the problem I have with certain people and how they interpret media nowadays, is they need everything answered, which I think is dumb.
Yeah,
no offense to people who are like that. And they're like, I'm so confused. What's going on? Motherfucker, you watch the whole thing and then you make that assessment after they tell you the story. And guess what? if something is planned for multiple seasons, you're not going to get all the answers in season 1.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. My boy Sean said it. Sean's right. I love shows when they're like, they have a plot line, they have a plan, and they stick to it, and it's like, I love these shows where like, I know just as much about what's going on as the main, maybe a little bit more than the main inspector in the series. You know what I'm saying? And I love that that's what Alien Earth did with like the first 5 episodes, where they would just show you flashbacks of the ship crash, and you kind of know like what went on, you kind of don't know, and then they give you the whole thing from start to finish, and then they just jump back into like the normal shit, and I'm just like, hell yeah, brother. And with Task, this show fucking rips, dude. I love it. It was one of those ones where I was bored, like I finished watching The Paper, finished watching Department Q. I didn't want to watch that new lawyer show on USA anymore that's like based on a Tom book, The Rainmaker. And I was like, I just need a new show. And I watched it. Just so happened that there was 2 episodes, and I was like, let me check it out. And I was heavily surprised and fell in love with it. And now I'm just like, I've been Instagram Task Sundays at 8 on HBO. Like, so there you go. You could have that one. Like, yeah.
So I know you said you didn't watch Mayor of Easttown, but it's not only is it the same creators and stuff like that, it's
same world.
Supposedly same world.
Yeah.
And if you love that whole outside of Philadelphia talk, like it was coined as like this creator. It was coined in that series, and that series is also awesome. Evan Peters,
they're all gonna say ambulance and like say phone. Hey, let me borrow your phone.
That one is more of a mystery. It's like more of a whodunit of that one, but it has this very much tonally similar. It is so good.
I love a good like heist / like high thought like crime kind of movie. Like I love like The Place Beyond the Pines and all that, and I feel like this has kind of a very similar vibe of just like guys that don't get in over their heads, not really knowing what they're doing, but starting off doing one thing and end up doing another thing, kind of like that movie Mystic River, kind of similar vibes to that, kind of similar to No Country for Old Men a little bit. If you're a fan of those things, Task is for you. And I'm a fan of all
me and my friend Liam we'll text each other every Monday, and we'll be like, yo, did you see what fucking happened in Task? Pretty much. We're like, that was fucking crazy. It's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, go watch Task if you haven't started Task. Go
Alien Earth, Peacemaker, Task.
Yeah.
Any other shows that people should watch, that I should watch?
You listed a lot, like Platonic. I saw the whole season, season 2, and I think that's like such a underrated comedic gem. That's also very smart of how it examines friendships, especially friendships in adult age, and truly examining if platonic friends are possible, and seeing how those relationships affect like your more central relationships. I think that show is so eerily, like sneakily genius.
Being somebody who like 2 of my closest friends in this world are of the opposite sex, it's one of those things where it has been in like previous relationships has been an issue where they're like, you're cheating on me with them. It's like, no, like Charlotte and I literally just went to the bar and just made fun of people all night, and like that's it. Or like Angie and I just like did this, like it wasn't, and I feel like Platonic does kind of, the first season is that whole like, won't they, if you know what I'm saying, and then the second season is kind of building up on like how like balancing like your friends and your family, kind of like that. I feel like that's what this season is all about. Also, another one that Apple has been killing it with, which also swept at the Emmys, was The Studio, which I absolutely love. There's been so much good shit that has come out. One of my favorite ones that I always recommend, if you just want a show to just put on, turn your brain off, very low stakes, everything's going to turn out good, even though it doesn't always. The Rookie on ABC and Hulu, starring Nathan Fillion as the LAPD's like oldest rookie to enlist, and just seeing his character arc, like being somebody like from like a law enforcement, like like I have uncles that were cops, and like my dad worked for the police department. Like it was just like like I just, those shows are just like, I'm just like I I fucking hate the cops, but I love shows about cops. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where I'm just like it. But that's one of those shows that I'm just like, this is very low stakes, very comforting, you know. And if you just don't have anything to watch, throw it on. It's surprisingly entertaining.
Yeah, I think one just popped up on Hulu, like a
Mhm.
random episode, and I was like, this seems like a good background TV show.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
The
It's
best
like a
way
background.
possible
Yeah, it's
of
like
like, watch this.
it's kind of like The Resident that was very similar, where it was like The Resident and The Good Doctor like came out at the same time, and The Good Doctor was the more like drama, like that type of thing, where The Resident was like house because they're all snarky, but it's also like a little bit edgier, and you have like three different doctors doing three different things and all that, and I feel like that was for a while, like during COVID, like when I was like doing dishes or like cleaning my apartment, that would be on like Hulu while I was just like doing shit, and I'd just be like, "Oh shit, she got shot! Damn, okay, back to vacuuming." Like
She
fucking
got shot. Damn.
yeah, yeah, like oh
Oh
shit, she
my
got
god.
shot! Damn, like yeah, but
Drew, thank you so much for
Sean,
doing this show.
no problem,
This is
man.
great.
If you ever want me on again, you know how to get a hold of
I,
me. I am
I
having a
would love
great. This is a great time. I've had a great time. I would love to catch up when all these shows are over and rank them on the Andrew scale.
I like the Andrew scale.
Yeah,
That's
I
nice.
also I
I like that.
have a friend Max who has an even better scale. If you want to hear about that one, he
Sure.
just rates things a 1 or a 2. It's either good or bad. That's it.
You can't get much
We went
simpler than
we
that.
went we went and saw that movie with The Rock, San Andreas. He was like, "It's
Oh
2."
God.
He's like, "It's 2." And then but then we saw like something else. He was like, "That was a 1." Like, and I was just like, "What's this on the max scale?" He's like, "It's a 2." Like so like I was just like, "Okay, well, so it's like 5 out of 5 Andrews, or is it like 3 out of 5?" He's like, "That's like a 2.5 out of 5 Andrews." Like it's not good, but it's not bad. Like
I can appreciate that a lot.
right.
That's great. Before we get out of here,
Yeah.
please let people know what Have Mercy has going on and where they
Okay.
can find you.
Yeah, so Have Mercy MD on all the socials. So we're leaving for Boys Night Out. We're hopping on the Trainwreck 20th anniversary tour in October, and then we got some stuff in the pipeline for the winter. Our album, The Loneliest Place I've Ever Been, is out now on Rude Records. And if I'm missing anything, we just put out a live music video for our buddy Tom. Put that together for August 17th. That's what we're pushing now. A video for Little Pieces just came out, which Brian actually put together, and it's compiled of the last 2 years since we got back together of touring, and all of it just being it's literally a bunch of little pieces of the band over the
Wow.
last 2 years put together to music. Is pretty good. And yeah, other than that, just hanging out with my boy Sean virtually. Yeah, that's about it. That's all.
Hell
That's
yeah.
all we've been doing. Yeah. Check out
I love it.
Guitar Center. We got Guitar-thon coming up. Buy some
There
stuff
you go.
from me. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, if you're in the area, go buy
If
some
you know,
guitars.
I can literally ship nationwide, all
There
48
you go.
continental, baby. You don't even got to be in the Towson Guitar Center. You can just call. Like,
That's amazing. Yeah, I'll put the number up right here. I'm not going to do that.
don't.
I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I'll link all of the Have Mercy socials down in the links below if you haven't already followed them. And if you want to support the podcast, you go to metalcorenerds.com. All our links are right there. And if you want to follow me in my personal account, it's just at Sean X Mott on Instagram and Twitter. Until next time, see you later, nerds.